In today's video, we are going to be adding a sacrificial fence or zero clearance fence to the Incra 1000 SE. Now, I have no reason to think that this isn't identical or nearly identical for any of the Incra fences that look the same as this. It's a very simple kind of almost T-bolt-like system, though not exactly a T-bolt. So if you don't have the SE specifically, if you have the HD, the 1000 that doesn't have the stop, or the 3000, it's probably the same. So if you want to follow along, you're probably going to be okay. If you like to have something in your hand, page 7 of the manual is where this will reside. Now, what do we need for this? In your package for the Incra miter gauge, at least with the SE, you will need package C-05. This contains the hardware we are going to need. There are 2 silver plates that essentially look like the end of a T-bolt. There are 2 bolts which fit into the head of this little screwdriver you were given, and then there are 2 washers as well. We're going to want something that is 3/4 of an inch thick. We can't really go thicker than that and also use the flip stop. If you use something thinner, the flip stop will kind of be down. It's not the end of the world, but 3/4 of an inch thick is ideal. I'm just going with MDF here, ideally something flat, plywood, but if you want to joint a board down of regular wood down to 3/4 of an inch, I think that'll work perfectly fine too. In an ideal world, we would like to have some sort of 3/4 of an inch drill bit. I've got a 3/4 of an inch Forstner bit. It's going to be better if it can leave a flat bottom, as the washer will reside up against there. So if you have a 3/4 of an inch Forstner bit, bingo, excellent. If this is a good opportunity to get one, even better. A 5/16 of an inch drill bit, doesn't matter if it's twist, brad point, whatever. Some way to measure 3/8 of an inch deep, stop block perfect, ruler perfect. If you do not have access to a 3/4 of an inch drill bit, I do not see any reason why you couldn't do this with a compass, a trim router, or a full-size router, and some kind of spiral bit or straight bit. It's just a circle. Just trace out a 3/4 of an inch circle roughly, plunges this down and in, and it just has to be somewhat close. It's actually not meant to be specific. We actually want a little wiggle room in there for the bolt to kind of self-center itself. So if you don't have an exact 3/4 of an inch drill bit of any type, if you have any sort of router, you can probably be totally fine with that. I don't love going into MDF with like chisels and stuff. It's just weird and awkward and not good for the edge. So ideally some sort of drill bit or router bit here is going to be your best bet. I'm going to bring you in a bit closer and I'm going to show you how this works so that you know in your head going in exactly why we are doing certain things. This fence is essentially a piece of T-track through here. Hopefully you can see through the side. It's got that normal kind of cut off, deeper, wider area on the inside and then shallower on the outside. And what that's for is much like how this all connects together here. These will slide into here, and when you tighten them down, it will lock into place, pulling your piece into that right there. This is simply going to go through our fence so that it pulls in, locks, and it allows us to then position the fence back and forth to have whatever overhang we would like. Now, before we drill our holes here, we have to think about the sizing of our piece of MDF. Our only main limitation is it has to be 2.5 inches or under in height so that it clears the flip stop, which we will move over to go over top of this. What we do need to think about as well is the overhang, how much we want of a reveal off to the right, because we obviously want to make sure our rightmost hole is drilled enough off to the left of that, that if we want to go a little extra, we're not going to slide off of this. This is really easy to loosen and move back and forth and remove as well. So we do have some play once we drill, but if we drill our hole too far to the right, we're kind of limited. For me, because this aluminum trips the saw stop, I actually normally keep this about 1/8 of an inch away from the blade entirely because it's like $100 if you trip that thing. It's insane. So I'm going to have about 1.5 inch overhang on this, which means I'll give myself a little extra. Maybe I'll go 2.5 inches in for my first hole, and then I'm just going to go down and place another one probably 10, 11 inches from that to kind of get a nice little spacing in there. But we'll mark that out exactly. The last thing is going to be your length here. What kind of pieces are you cutting normally that you're going to want to use with this? For me, 15, 16 inches max is really what I use. I think this is about 22, 23, something like that. If you use really long pieces, maybe you want to make this 36 inches long. If you use relatively short pieces most of the time, maybe you only want to go 12, 13 inches, or at most the length of this miter gauge when it's closed up. That is going to be totally up to you and your use cases. Because we are given a little bit of wiggle room with how we are going to drill this, I am just going to take these to the table saw, kind of line this up by eye and make a mark. But I am also going to wait until after that to do the actual trimming down of this, because if I were to miss a little high, maybe I want to cut some off the bottom so I can lower it, or if I'm perfectly on center, I can just trim off the top and I'm good there. I don't see any real reason to cut this exactly to 2.5 inches yet. Obviously, if yours is starting from a big piece, I would go down to maybe 2 3/4 and then go from there. But I'm going to cut this at the very end. So to mark this out, I'm going to go set this in the table saw instead of trying to balance this thing on the table. And then we will go to the drill press. There's no reason you can't use a hand drill here. It's going to be nice if you could drill this, especially this Forstner bit hole at 90 degrees straight up and down. If it's not perfect, that's not the end of the world. So if you don't have a drill press, don't worry, hand drill will work totally fine for this. We're going to do a couple things while we're over here. First, I'm going to just try to roughly mark out where that center is. Therefore, I'm going to drill my holes along the line. I'm also going to mark out roughly what my overhang is going to be. So I'm going to go about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, something like that. I'm going to mark on the top where this is going to cut off. And then I'm also thinking about in the future, we can scoot this over a little bit to get a couple different zero clearances. I've got different blades. I've got a thin curved blade. I've got a Diablo blade, which are slightly different in size. If I make the cut with the Diablo, the thin curved blade is not going to be an exactly zero clearance. So I want a little room to kind of move back and forth. Therefore, I know where my edge is. So where am I going to drill my holes? Well, I want them decently spaced so that if there is any kind of bow or anything in this, it does pull it in. And if your piece has a bow, I highly suggest putting the bow out so that when you tighten these, it pulls it back and in. If you place it like this, it's not going to pull any kind of hump into it, especially if you're using like plywood that's got any warping. Place it so that any warping is out like that and it will pull it back in. So lining this up, I'm going to go about 1 inch or so, 1 1/8 in from that side. I don't have any reason to have a giant overhang, so I'm going about 1 inch, 1.8 in. And then I'm going to bring my other hole, my left side hole, all the way down to somewhere 11.5, 12 down here like that. I feel like that's a pretty good amount of spacing for me. You can go even further if you want. It doesn't really matter as long as you've got a decent amount of space such that when it clamps, any potential bow is clamped out in there. I know MDF is really nice and flat. It doesn't always stay perfectly flat forever, and I don't want to have to make a million of these. So I'd rather let my hole positioning do any kind of pulling flat. So again, I've got my 2 holes marked as well as the line I want to drill on. Now, when drilling holes of 2 different sizes, I like to personally do the larger one first because it's not a through hole, and then the smaller one second. And I think most people do that way. One of the nice things is with these Forstner bits, for example, they've got a leading point, so this brad point can go right in there, or a twist point will go right in there. Now, we need this one to be about 3/8 of an inch deep, and that is a little more, about a 1/16 inch more than this washer plus the head of this bolt. This is about 5/16 of an inch combined. All this is doing is simply allowing this to sit into this MDF so we can lay something flat on there. So I'm going to line up my fence with my mark roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can always, as we are anyway, going to trim some of this off. And honestly, if you screw up, you can always just drill another hole. As I said earlier, this should be about 3/8 of an inch deep. If you have stop blocks or a little ruler, just get it somewhere around 3/8 of an inch deep. It just needs to be above 5/16 so that we clear that bolt head. Time for a little moment of truth here. We are going to feed our bolts and washers through the front. Oops. Going to go like that. We're going to loosely place on the metal, I'm just going to call them T-bolts. They're just kind of part of a T-bolt-like structure. Don't tighten them down too much. We got to slide it in there, and then we have our screwdriver here, and we'll snug it with that. Hey. Oh, too tight, too tight. All right, we are in. So we're gonna just kind of slide that in there. I'm now gonna trim this down to 2.5 inches, and we will talk about putting the flip stop on there as we have to move the position of this. While I'm here, I'm actually going to put a tiny little 1/8 of an inch chamfer around the bottom of this so that dust doesn't get stuck in there. A lot of you, if you've made crosscut sleds, will likely have chamfered that bottom side there. I think this is a good time to do it before we put it on. And now to do the flip stop and get this lined up, we're just going to put it in there, kind of get it where we think we'd like it, tighten that down, and then we're going to come in and we're going to switch this around. Much like the rest of this, as well as this fence, this all uses the same T-track system. We're going to loosen these two black ones on the top. Don't do it a ton. And this will slide right out of there and slide right back into the front one. Oops, I'm running into that. Stop. And the nice thing is it's designed so that stop works on both sides, and that buys us that extra 3/4 of an inch to go over that stop. You can change this back anytime you take that off. We're gonna come over, we're gonna put this on just like we always do. Now remember, when you normally have the fence, these 3 little lines will slide into there. They're obviously not going to do that on this. They will just simply rest up against there. But this is going to slide just the same and lock identical. It's extremely well designed. And just like that, we have our zero clearance fence. Now, I'm going to wax the bottom of this because there obviously is some friction. This gauge comes with these nice little kind of this pad on the bottom that makes it really frictionless, but we've obviously added a big piece of MDF to this. It is also significantly heavier now. If a big piece of MDF is added, it gets added by that weight. Still slides really nicely though, so I'm gonna wax the bottom. And when you go to make that first cut, I just highly suggest 2 things. 1, put the blade in that you plan to do most of your cross cutting with. If we want a zero clearance and we're going to use, let's say, a 60 tooth for all of our kind of final nice cross cuts, put it in now and pick the spot where you really want this. You can just loosen this back and slide this to line this up however you want it. And again, if you want a fresh spot for a different blade, you can always just slide this over again. You will have that hole there, which doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. But while it's brand new and fresh, you might as well get this lined up now how you want it. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Hopefully, if you are like me and you've been wanting to try this auxiliary sacrificial fence on there to get a nice little zero clearance, this has helped walk you through it. If you have any tips or any kind of alternative changes, methods you made, let me know down in the comments. If I forgot anything, let me know too. Bye.